When the robber barons accumulated fortunes that made European princes envious, the combination of their own philanthropy, their children's extravagance, and federal trust-busting meant that Americans never discovered what it would be like to live in a country where the elite could reliably reproduce themselves.
A robber baron originally was an industrialist in the 19th century, and the way they were presented to the public by the media was as thieves of the labor of humanity in order to build up their fortunes. And certainly there was some truth in that, but at the same time they did build up the industry. So nowadays, robber baron refers to wealthy people who are on what we call plutocrats, which means that they use the power of their wealth to help them control society, who are unscrupulous and ruthless in obtaining and maintaining their power. A baron is a low-level noble, lower than a king or a prince. A baron would control a smaller area, like a city or a couple towns, similar to a county today, maybe a large county, depending on how powerful they were. So a robber baron is a combination of two different qualities. One is a robber who is basically a thief, and the other is a baron who has both political and economic power over a large area. So originally, robber barons were 19th century industrialists who may or may not have made their fortunes by unethical means, but most of the time they probably were unethical by today's standards. And nowadays, it refers to wealthy people who also may have gotten their money by unethical means, but who, more importantly, exert their power in secret and mysterious ways that are possibly unethical through control over local governments and so forth.
When the robber barons accumulated fortunes that made European princes envious, the combination of their own philanthropy, their children's extravagance, and federal trust-busting meant that Americans never discovered what it would be like to live in a country where the elite could reliably reproduce themselves.
So in this context, they talk about robber barons who accumulated fortunes that made European princes envious, which means a bunch of rich people got rich in the United States. And they were much more successful than the Europeans were. Some people say that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were robber barons, and there is some truth to that. Bill Gates, he may have crushed a number of smaller software companies that could have been successful if he didn't compete with them so strongly. And similarly, you could probably say the same thing about Apple. But largely people feel that they gained their fortunes through ethical and moral means. And any robber baron type activity they did was largely just part of the normal course of doing business and is not particularly unethical or immoral. When the USSR collapsed, much of the economy fell under the grip of people that came to be known as oligarchs, who controlled large areas of the economy. Some people called them robber barons because they said it was similar to what happened in the 19th century. Other people said that the robber barons don't really apply because the robber barons built industries from scratch, where the oligarchs pretty much just took over these companies through unfair means and corrupt means. ESL fullsteamahead.com.